Hello, fellow translators. Today I'm going to talk to you about rates. I'm going to talk to you about the prices you should charge, the rates you should be charging for your translations. This is something that a lot of people ask, but unfortunately there are very few answers around there because people want concrete numbers, concrete prices. So I'm going to get into that. I'm not going to get into that too much into detail in this video, but kind of just go through the preliminaries. Hint, hint, my course goes into too much detail about it. But for now, I just wanted to go through the basics. So let's do that. So how much should you charge? Well, this is the perennial question, and actually you can get some concrete numbers. I'll just show you an easy way right off the bat. If you go to pros.com and you can look up community rates, the way you do that is you go to Tools, pros.com Tools, and then click on Community Rates over here, and then you'll basically get a list of all the rates that people charge. And it's very simple. If you go here, you go English, say, I'll do my language combination, Italian into English and law, and then I'll click submit. As you can see here, it says average rates per word. The standard is 11 cents per word. The minimum is 8 cents per word, and then it has the rates per hour and the sample size. Now, for those of you just starting out, this is going to seem a bit high. And do you know why? Because it is a bit high. Let's face it, if you're just starting out, probably no one's going to hire you for these rates because you don't have any track record. You don't have any experience. You don't have any ratings. You don't have any referrals. You don't have any reviews. Let me show you more or less what I mean. And by the way, here I am talking about pros.com, but this will also apply to any other website you use. I'm just talking about pros because it's still the main place to get translation jobs. LinkedIn is obviously growing a lot, but this also applies for LinkedIn. However, if you look at my profile here on pros.com, I have 30 positive reviews, so I probably can charge those prices and it'll be okay. But if you have 0 reviews, then when you get hired online, people don't know who you are. And you can write all the stuff you want here below, but no one's going to really know how truthful it is because you can write whatever you want here below. And these positive reviews, these reviews in general, however, are made by other people. They're made by real people. They're made by users. And so they can easily be verified. And that's what people often like to do. And that's what I often like to do when I hire people on pros.com. And you can see here the people who left me the reviews. So let's say you want to apply for a job and you see something like this job posting and you would really like to apply. They say show the email address. So you can email them and give them your resume, but then you also need to give a rate. Unfortunately, you have no idea who else is applying for this job. Sometimes pros.com shows it if they do the online application, but if they show an email address, they don't even show how many other people are applying. But you definitely don't know how much the other people are charging. So how much should you charge? Well, you'd like to charge quite a bit, but you also want to get hired, and you're thinking, well, if I want to get hired, maybe I should charge less. And unfortunately, this makes it quite complicated, but in the end, a lot of people decide that they want to charge a bit less because then they're more likely to get the job. Unfortunately, you will always find someone who's willing to charge less than you are. That starts the downward spiral, and frankly, it's very hard to get out of for various reasons, which, again, I won't get too much into. The problem with the downward spiral is, once again, you'll always find someone who can charge less than you. Unless, and here's where my strategy comes around, unless you charge absolutely 0. So what do I mean by this? Well, I mean exactly what I say. You charge 0. And I've sort of gotten into fights about this with other translators, but bear with me. So my strategy here is actually just to charge 0. And why would you do this? Well, because at the very beginning, those ratings, those reviews, and whatever referrals you can get or reviews you can get on your profile page are worth more than whatever your money you're going to make. So if you can find a translation, ideally a short translation, a short job, short project that you can work on, what you can do is contact the client and, quite frankly, just be honest about it. You send your cover letter, your resume, etc., etc. But then you say, look, as you can see, I have no reviews or ratings on my profile page, And so I can perform this translation for you. And as payment, if you're satisfied with the translation, the only payment that I ask for is that you leave me a good review or a good rating. I don't know many agencies or clients who will say no to a free translation. In fact, they could even hire someone else in the meantime and still hire you as a translator, because why not? And so I found this to be quite effective, and I know several people who've used this to their advantage. And what you can do is, after you've performed several, say 2 or 3 free translations, and so you have 2 or 3 ratings or reviews on your profile, then suddenly you're a contender for higher rates. Now, a couple things to keep in mind. First of all, you don't want to do this for a big job. Like, let's say this job where they're looking for a freelance book translator. This is probably not something that you want to be doing for free, because you don't want to be working on an entire book for free. So you want to make sure that it's a short translation. Another thing you want to make sure of is that you do it for free. A lot of people will think, well, I'll sort of apply that, but I'll just do it for cheap. But then once again, you're in the downward spiral thing. And there are many problems with doing it for cheap. You get pigeonholed. You'll be getting used to doing subpar work. And the client will be getting used to hiring you for very cheap. And good luck raising your rates later on if you're charging them a cheap rate, even if you tell them you're just doing it at the beginning, et cetera, et cetera. Again, I don't want to get into too much detail about it, but there are many problems with doing it cheap rather than doing it free. And so my strategy is just to do the first couple jobs for free. Just make sure that you get all your ratings and referrals. Ideally, get them in one place so that they can accumulate. And then you can start charging like what everyone else charges. Now, by the way, this is just one strategy. There are many different strategies that people have followed. So definitely talk to all your friends, colleagues, and contacts, and get an idea as to what they did and what they recommend. After you start doing a couple jobs and you get into the swing of things, you'll get more used to it and you'll know what you should be charging. And never forget that your rate will also depend on the timeline. It will depend on the format. It'll depend definitely on the content, et cetera, et cetera. So you can tweak it as needed. However, hopefully this was a good primer and it gives you an idea as to how to find general rates and how to go about getting started. Anyway, that's pretty much it for now. I'll talk to you next time. Okay, thanks. Bye. Savedum.